This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by All-Star Vacation Homes. And now that Thanksgiving's over, you may have noticed that, while spending a lot of time with your family seems like a good idea, it might not really be. And the thought of having to spend time with your family at a really small room at All-Star Music isn't a great idea now that you think about it. So why not invest in an All-Star Vacation Home and have a lot of space so you can actually stretch out and maybe have your own little private area away from everyone else, because the homes at All-Star Vacation Homes are quite large. Give them a try. Visit them online at www.allstarvacationhomes.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Friday, November 28th, 2008, and this is episode 494 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. On today's show, we have Mike Scopo, a blogger over at allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, Matt. We'll even throw a few surprise tests in there.
Oh, test track.
Pretty easy.
Very nice. And also joining us today is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Len, how was your Thanksgiving?
Well, I deep-fried a turkey and infrared grilled another one without any significant burns. Apparently it went pretty well.
Apparently. And joining us also is Annette Owens, a travel agent at MEI and Mousefan Travel. How are you, Annette?
Oh, just fine. Still got that Thanksgiving meal going on even today. So it's 2 days of Thanksgiving and birthday.
Yeah. What Scopo loves about Thanksgiving is that the leftover turkey lasts just up until Mouse Fest, so it's perfect. He doesn't have to go to the grocery store.
How'd you know?
So on today's show, we're actually going to be redoing an episode 6, in fact. Episode 6, the information there was actually pretty good. But
If I do say so myself.
But the problem with it is episode 6 sounds like I'm in a battleship and Len is somewhere about 20,000 feet in the air. So with that being said, we are going to revisit, and also some things have changed. So we're going to be talking about parade and fireworks tips and kind of viewing areas and some general information in terms of parades and fireworks, because it's a common question that we often get. I'm interested in this, any advice for it. So let's start in the Magic Kingdom, and let's start with the afternoon parade in the Magic Kingdom. I know it's definitely a real favorite of everyone over here.
I can't stand the afternoon parades, but the Magic Kingdom isn't bad. I think there are a couple of really good vantage points to it. One of them that I'm really liking more and more is in Liberty Square, where they sort of make the turn under the bridge.
Yep.
I like that a little bit, because if I get bored with the parade, I don't have to wander through Adventureland to get to a fun ride. If you're right there, you can walk backwards towards Liberty Square into Frontier and Fantasyland, or you can take the wooden bridge, the wooden walkway, that goes along the waterway, the Rivers of America, to Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain.
Nice.
So you've got snacks behind you. Yeah.
It's good if you need to punch out,
Exactly. You know what? I've had enough of this parade. I'm out of here. Whereas if you're in the hub, depending on where you're at, if you're on the interior part of the hub, on the Adventureland side, you can really only get to Adventureland without crossing over. Or if you're on the opposite side and you wanted to get to everything else, you'd have to walk through Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Liberty Square, and Frontierland.
Right. That's a good point.
Whereas if you're right there, you can get pretty much anywhere except Adventureland, and Tomorrowland would be a little bit more of a walk.
Okay, Scopo, what do you think?
To Len's point, I believe that the Adventureland side of Main Street USA is where the shade is. One of the things you should always do is figure out where the shade's going to be. You don't want to be standing in the sun during, let's say, the midsummer and watching the parade, because you will really sweat.
Because you won't make it through the parade.
Well, I mean, especially if you're thinking about taking photos of the parade, or if you're thinking about videotaping, I would have the sun to my back. So that's one consideration. If you're looking to,
isn't that also good advice for a gunfight, to have the sun at your back?
Very, very good advice. We're always looking out for our gunslingers.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's right. There was one time when I really wanted a very good videotaping of the daytime parade. So what I did is I planted myself in that area where the hub is, where the partner statue is, and I faced, I guess, Frontierland. As the parade, so the parade came at me head on, and I was able to videotape the parade coming right at me. That was really good, but I remember sweating like it was no tomorrow because it was the middle of the day. So that's consideration. Always knowing where the sun is going to be at the time of the parade, and depending upon the time of year, the sun's going to be higher, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. When you're in the Magic Kingdom, if you're one of those people that needs to see the parade, a daytime parade along Main Street, USA, if you're facing the castle, it always seems like the right side of the path is the sunny side, the side that gets hit with the sun. And usually you'll see a lot of people on the left side, which is the shady side. And if I don't know if they're smart or stupid, sitting on the right-hand side, waiting for it. And it's just, I agree with you, Mike, that it's much more difficult to not only wait for the parade, but also just see the parade because the sun's beating down and it really drains you a whole lot faster.
I just want to add, I think a good place that we've always done with the kids that worked well with the kids is Frontierland. Make sure you're near a bathroom because you know how those kids are. They, they're going to have to go during the parade if they're young, so it never fails.
It's actually a great point. There's the candy shop in Frontierland. There's a raised wooden platform outside of that, and they leave the door open to the candy shop during summer. And the air conditioning will actually blow on you if you sit on that raised wood platform. And if you sit at the front of the platform, you're up off the ground, which is naturally hotter than the wood, and you've got a decent view of the parade. That's also a really good.
No, it's a great spot.
Why does it not surprise me that Len knows exactly where the candy shops are in the Magic Kingdom?
I'm just saying.
I was just thinking the bathrooms are behind you if you're ever on that side, but oh well.
Now, what about Spectrum Magic? Does that change for anyone in terms of where you
I think
spots?
It's a great spot for Spectrum Magic, too.
Okay, so no one changes what they said. I mean, obviously, with the sun issue is not an issue anymore.
I still like Frontierland.
Yeah,
I don't like Main Street for Spectra. Too many people are hanging out there.
Yeah, Main Street is always way crowded during Spectra, in my opinion. Mike?
I have two favorite spots for Spectro. The first spot would be with my back to the train station because Spectro comes out from near the car barn, and it comes right towards you. And again, it's a good spot if you're videotaping. Plus, once that is over, if you really want to leave the park at that time, you could just take off right after the last float. The other place is, I believe, same place where Annette is probably thinking, in Frontierland, right near, probably right near Country Bear Jamboree. That would be also
the arcades, right in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, on that side, the mercantile side, there are some lights that sometimes come up from the roof. So if you're taking photos, if you're taking video, you want those lights behind you, not in front of you. You don't want to be on the water side.
Good point. Yeah. So
right.
on the roof, that's a great point, Mike. Actually, the roof line of the Frontierland mercantile shops has colored lights.
Right.
That face it. Yeah. So if you're shooting at an angle, I think if you're shooting at an angle towards Splash Mountain, it would be problematic. Again, going the other way, it may or may not be depending on exactly where you're at. But okay, valid point. Yeah, good point. Good point on that.
Let's now shift to Wishes. At the Magic Kingdom and spots for Wishes. My favorite spot to watch Wishes has to be right in front of the Crystal Palace. There's a great clearing over there, not many trees, and it's usually a great spot for a last-minute spot because I'm not usually one to stake out spots for a long time. I mean, I'm too restless to do that. But usually whenever we roll in for Wishes, I'm always looking for that spot first because most people don't really go for it because there's a lot of trees in the surrounding area, and that throws people off. They say, well, there's nothing to see over here. And right in front of Crystal Palace has always been a great spot for me. What do you guys think?
Well, so we were actually there in October. We watched it from that spot.
Yeah, that's right.
I thought it was pretty good too. The thing that I liked about it is there are actually benches right behind you right near the steps to Crystal Palace.
Good point.
Which, if you get lucky, and you get one, that's taking a load off right there. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Scopa?
Regarding the Crystal Palace, you can actually watch Wishes from the Crystal Palace porch if you sit to the far left, like right next to Casey's. You can actually watch Wishes while on the bench of the porch of the Crystal Palace. That's a very good spot. There's also a little alcove between the Crystal Palace and Main Street USA where you can take some very good photos of the castle. So that's a good spot. Personally, I like to watch Wishes from about 50 yards in front of the partners statue because you're looking at it heads on. If there's any type of if there are images being shown on the castle, you can capture them on film too. So
that's a good point actually, because if you're over at the Crystal Palace, some of the fireworks are going to appear to be to the left of the castle. I actually like it to watch Wishes near the bridge to Tomorrowland.
Yes.
Because number one is if you sit up front, you can lean against the rail and take a load off, or if you're on the opposite wall, you can lean against the wall on the bridge and relax. But the fireworks appear to be going directly over the castle if you're in that spot, not too far along. So you don't want to be like all the way down towards Tomorrowland. You want to be closer to the hub than not, and then back as far as you can on that, and then the fireworks. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, Len, the line that you're probably looking at is the Rose Garden, the Upper Rose Garden. You want to be to the left of that Upper Rose Garden path. If you're to the right of it, then the fireworks it's well off center and to the right of the castle. You don't want that.
Yeah, another great spot for people who might be traveling with those who don't have great endurance. Maybe some grandparents or even some young children need to be able to sit down and while waiting, and a curb or on the ground might not be available or not even ideal. If you watch it from the Tomorrowland Terrace, the Noodle Station area over there, if you can grab a spot, usually you have to arrive like about 20, 30 minutes ahead of time, but you can just drag some chairs right up to the edge over there, and you'll have some great spots, and you can sit, and it's covered also.
Good point.
Yeah, so it's I've seen it a couple times when it's been like lightly raining, like on and off, but they still go with it, and it's been great because it's covered, and you get to sit down. Let's move on.
Grab a snack and go.
Yeah,
Let's move on to the Epcot parades.
The Epcot parades, that's right. No parade in Epcot, but we have our favorite show, which is Illuminations. Now, I have to give a warning to all of our listeners that when I ask for Scopa's opinion on Illuminations, he is going to lie. Well, he won't lie. He'll give you his second, third, and fourth favorite places to watch it, but he is very secretive about the first place. I don't think either of us have ever known it. It's like something you have to like.
Len knows where it is.
Only blood knows
where it's at.
Yeah,
I think Annette knows too.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Yep.
With that being said, Mike, what are your favorite spots to watch Illuminations from?
Well, I'll tell you, Matt. One of the best spots.
One of the best, not the best, because I ain't telling you guys.
Crap. It's from a corner table at the Krongoli Bakery in Norway, because you can sit down, have refreshments, and you can watch the video globe and listen to the music while everyone else is standing. So that's one spot. Another spot is Len and I watched Christmas Illuminations from the spot in 2004, I believe. The Innovations Plaza. Remember, Len? We're watching head on across.
Oh, yeah. So where World Showcase meets Future World. Right there between the two
that's
stores.
A perfect spot because the
that was great. That was Christmas. That was Reflections of Earth.
We thought we were gonna go. We thought the ground.
We thought the ground was gonna fall, cave in. That was great. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Those are two places that
that's still not the spot. But okay, that's still not Scopa's secret spot, which I won't divulge.
I've had some pretty good luck actually watching it from Germany. I watched it there with Newell a few times, and I watched it with others over there. Usually, if you're facing Germany, it'd be to the left, just to the left of the pavilion, but not quite over in that Africa area. So it's like still technically in Germany, and there's a great little clearing between trees, and you can get a perfect view of the lagoon over there. And I really like it. It tends not to be a spot that's taken right away, so it's worked out well for me. I know Annette's favorite spot, and that's during a dessert party.
You got to be with desserts. That's the best place.
Yeah.
So, but knowing that, I think that's something we should put out there. We can tell people what great places to go to watch, but they do have private parties. So, sometimes you may have that perfect place planned. I know a lot of people do look at the UK over there and look at those picnic tables and go, oh, that's a great spot to come back to later. And there's a good chance there's going to be a dessert party there later.
Absolutely.
That's something to keep in mind.
Now, what about Scope? I think you brought this up before we started recording the show. How about a spot not to watch Illuminations from? A spot that may not be obvious. Obviously, a spot behind a tree is not a great spot. But is there somewhere in Epcot that you would say is not a good spot, even though it might look like a good spot to watch Illuminations from?
Well, the thing is, Matt, I think we all agree that the draw of Illuminations is not just the fireworks, but it's the It's the visual. It's what goes on with lights, and also what goes on with the music. And I think the blending of the three makes Illuminations what it is. Back in 2005, I think the first night I was at Mousefest, I watched Illuminations from the bridge between France and Great Britain, and it was terrible.
Well, one spot that I really disliked watching it from, last August I saw it on the bridge between.
There's not a good line of sight there either. Yeah,
and that spot I just did not enjoy at all because it was just so crowded. It's like trying to catch a spot on Main Street USA. I mean, I just don't enjoy watching it when you have to like really fight for space over there, and we arrived late. We wanted to see it, but looking back on it, it was just not a happy time seeing it over there.
You know what else isn't good? I've watched it in Japan, and
you don't like it?
depending on which way the wind is blowing, the smoke comes right back on you.
Okay.
The smoke from the fireworks.
Yeah.
That's not fun at all.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's I think it's colder over there because that is the way the wind blows, and it's colder and it's not nearly as much fun. I watched it one January. I guess it was 2006. From there during a marathon. It was freezing. Like, dude, it's time to go.
Okay, part of the problems you went in January, but
that's also.
Oh yeah, but unfortunately that's when they were holding the race, so I pretty much had to.
Now, the other thing that I want to bring to our attention also, there's cruises that are available for Illuminations and for Wishes, and I used to be of the camp that said that all those cruises are a waste of money and they're not very good anyway for the Vantage Point. I still think they're a waste of money and a bad vantage point for where they are at the Magic Kingdom for the Wishes cruises, but I'm a new convert thanks to Michael Scabetta, who brainwashed me to say that the Illuminations cruises are decent. I did enjoy them. I will say that the exception with that would be that if you're on the Breathless 2 as opposed to those pontoon boats, which I don't think get as good a view as the Breathless 2 gets. But Len, you're not a big fan of either of them.
No, I don't think that either Wishes or Illuminations were meant to be seen at that particular viewing angle. And I think the amount of time that you have to invest in setup and transportation back is better spent in the parks.
Okay.
I think it's expensive too.
I agree. Other than a marriage proposal, don't bother.
Yeah.
and I'm not going to do that again for a while, so,
Lesson learned, right?
Exactly.
Let's move on to Disney Hollywood Studios and Block Party Bash. One of the things with Block Party Bash is that it's difficult because it's not a traditional parade. It's not you stand in one spot and the parade goes by you. Rather, the parade goes to a stop and deploys, and based on where you're standing, you're going to able to probably see one, maybe two stops. And there's two different stops. There's one on Hollywood Boulevard and one over by Echo Lake. And both stops, so it's difficult to see basically all three floats. There's the Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., and Bugs Life. And the problem with that, obviously, is that you can't see basically the whole parade in one foul swoop. But my favorite spot to watch it from...
Full swoop?
Yeah.
What, are chickens involved in this?
Yes, exactly.
One fell swoop.
Whatever, same difference.
No. One is a bird, one is not.
Anyway, my favorite spot to watch it is going to be on
One
Hollywood
foul
Boulevard
swoop.
between Keystone Clothiers and Mickey's of Hollywood, because you get to see it right in front of there, and you'll see the Monsters, Inc. float. And then, as soon as the float is pretty much wrapping up, they'll start playing You've Got a Friend in Me. If you make a beeline, you turn around, run towards Echo Lake, and you'll come right out where Indiana Jones is right over there. You'll be able to catch the Toy Story float. This requires some good running and forsaking other guests in front of you, but it can be done, and that's one of both spots are actually very good. If you want to just dedicate one spot though near Echo Lake, I like in the Animation Academy over there where all the statues are. Watching it from over there, there's usually a lot of space over there, and you get some good vantage point of the Toy Story floats. What about you guys?
I just have to say that gives me a new perspective on this parade because I never thought about running through the park and plowing people down to go see another float.
It's possible. I've done it before.
I've just never thought of that in a parade before.
And I think Matt, that's a vantage point that I would recommend as well for it too.
Yeah, we were talking before about bad vantage points. A lot of people go right to the Sorcerer's Hat thinking perfect spot, right? Well, no, you won't. You'll see the back of each stop. You won't actually see us. No one will actually stop in front of you, and that's actually a bad spot. The first time I saw the the parade. I actually saw it from over there, and I was like, oh, and I was in a bad spot. So definitely you want to avoid that one. Fantasmic, Scopa, what's your thoughts on where to see it from Fantasmic?
Oh, Fantasmic that's easy, man. I think you and I are in the same
camp.
Line of thought on this. I like Fantasmic. Well, as long as you're just off to the center, I don't think watching it head on is good because you're right in the middle of a screen. Actually, you're between two screens. I prefer it a little bit to the left rather than to the right. To the right is where all the dinner package people go. Yep. So if you go early enough, or you don't have to go that early, I would say I try to go all the way to the left, or not to the left, maybe about a little bit to the left of center, and about maybe 1/3 of the way down.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. I think you definitely want to be just off center would be ideal. The only section I would say, the first few rows right by the water I think are bad, simply because you can get wet over there, and I don't think you can see the whole thing as best as you can from where you said, Mike. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And without going into a ton of detail, I mentioned it on many other shows before. The Fantasmic dinner package is a terrible waste of time and money, so don't ever do that. You're just going to get a bad spot, among other reasons. But the spot you get is quite bad. Let's move on to Animal Kingdom. And we have their afternoon parade. And Len, what does the unofficial guide say about it? Because I don't waste my time seeing it.
The best spot for the parade for the Animal Kingdom is the walkway between Africa and Asia. And a couple of reasons for that. One is it's not usually crowded, like the bridge from Africa to Discovery Island is. The other thing is that there are places to sit along the walkway, and it's shaded. So during the afternoon, especially during summer, you aren't getting the sun beating down on you. There are little cutout areas for you to walk around in that pathway. It's cooler. You can pick up a couple of drinks. There's restrooms if you're on the outer edge of the walkway. So if you're walking between Africa and Asia on your left-hand side, you can still get to restrooms and stuff. Really not bad at all. That's definitely the preferred spot. You want to totally avoid anything in Africa if you can because of the crowd conditions and the narrow bridges.
I want to just add to that, Lynn. The great thing is on the inner circle in that same little area, they have some picnic tables with chairs kind of down towards the river.
Yes,
you can bring those chairs up and watch the parade.
Oh, I've never thought of that. I've never done that.
Oh, we've done it before. It's great. And now you're sitting in chairs watching a parade. So.
Oh, you breaker. Nice.
You're not chained down.
So automatically you can take it.
Scopa?
I don't have the map in front of me, but I believe the place I'm thinking of it's right across from, I think, Tamu Refreshments. And I think my back would be to Tusker House, maybe in that area, that covered area where people can sit. And the reason why I like that place is that the daytime parade comes to you. Let's see, it approaches you from the left, and it goes past you, and then it turns around and it makes a circle, and then it comes towards you. So you actually get to see it twice by standing in that one spot. So it allows you, again, if you're taking photos or taking video, you get to take photos of it coming from left to right and also towards you.
Very good. Well, that'll do it for us today. I want to mention again that this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by All-Star Vacation Homes. And if you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World and you want to have a great home that has a lot of space, lots of rooms, everyone can get their own room, their own bedroom, plus you get your own private pool, and some houses come with video games and movie theaters, and obviously you get your own kitchen. There's lots of great amenities. Definitely give it a try. Visit them online at www.allstarvacationhomes.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Sopa, Mike Newell, and the fabulous Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.